This is kind of a continuation of something we've talked about on the show in relation to what's going on with people waking up to President Trump's nominees. Tom Homan, the border czar, intends to do something that is driving Casey Hunt at CNN absolutely nuts. In fact, if you see, watching the video service, you see her response in her eyes. This is a screenshot of her hearing that Tom Homan intends to enforce the law. Look, if you've ever had the law enforced against you, you know what bureaucracies can do to you. I've been talking to my friend Zach Abraham, the Chief Investment Officer, Bulwark Capital Management. He comes on my podcast once a week, usually on Fridays. Zach has been talking a lot about the administrative state and what the administrative state has done to increase costs of college, of food, of housing, of aid. President Trump is talking about stripping out the administrative state, slimming it down, reducing its power. He's already talking about bringing back the Keystone Pipeline. He's had conversations about bringing micro-nuclear to the United States. If that happens, our cost of energy should drop by 50 to 60%, maybe more, depending on how much micro-nuclear we get. I have a question for you. Is your savings account, rather your retirement account, is it set up to take advantage of this? Or are you doing buy and hold? Is it set up to respond to what the deep state's going to do when they fight back? Because they're going to fight back. Here's a suggestion, and it's free. It doesn't cost you any money, just a little bit of your time. Have Zach look at your retirement portfolio. He'll look at your home ownership, your equity, your plans for retirement, your savings, your cash flow if you're still working, and he'll tell you whether you have retirement plans or dreams. What's the difference? Here's Zach's definition of a successful retirement. When you stop working, you know exactly how much money you're going to have for the rest of your life. Go to knowyourriskradio.com, simply ask for a free, no-obligation consultation, and Zach will make that happen with his team. Knowyourriskradio.com or call him at 866-779-RISK. That's 866-779-RISK.
Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24308.
The mayor of Denver, Mike Johnson, has said that he'll go to jail in defense of illegal immigrants. The newly elected Los Angeles County Police Chief has said the same thing. He'll go to jail. He's pledged his support to block illegal immigrants from being deported, which would mean he'd be setting himself up for a felony charge, because it happens that harboring illegal immigrants is a federal felony. For years in the separate country of Washington State, separate country of California, judges have secreted illegal immigrant defendants out of the courtroom when they learn that ICE is there. In many of these separate countries like Oregon, Washington, and California, they will not charge illegal immigrants with felonies, because a felony gets you time in prison. In other words, you are detained in prison for more than a year, at which point ICE gets an automatic notice that you are here. Casey Hunt has never responded with an oof to that. She's never responded in shock to, wait a minute, hold on. You have city, county, and state officials harboring criminals? They took a pledge to defend the Constitution in the United States against enemies, foreign and domestic, and they're harboring criminals. She's never responded this way. It's a quick clip, but it says it all about CNN and Casey Hunt.
I think we will see Denverites and folks around the country who will nonviolently resist that.
Look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail.
Oof.
Oof. Why oof? If he becomes border czar, which is a phrase I hate, we shouldn't have anything like czars, he takes an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. He takes an oath to do that. So why the oof? That shouldn't be an oof. It's this. She cannot relate to a federal government doing anything other than virtue signaling. Casey, what is the act of harboring illegal immigrants? What is that? Is it upholding law? Is it defending the Constitution? Is it defending the taxpayer? Is it defending our border? Is it doing their duty? What is it? You could say it's humanitarian. Is it? When our open border is used to bring cartels into our country, who set up then supply lines to bring human beings across, sometimes for sex trafficking, sometimes for labor trafficking, is that humanitarian? Is it humanitarian to give illegal immigrants in our country $2,200 a month and $10,000 in walking around money when we have homeless veterans, when we ourselves are a bankrupt nation? Is that really, really humanitarian? We as a nation are 5% of the world's population. We have taken in at least 20% of the world's displaced people. Is that really a good thing to take good people out of their country instead of giving them the ability to fight within their own country to save their country? On the topic of immigration, I don't think it gets more entertaining than seeing a young woman who, for whatever reason, does this video, I think, laying on her back, wrapped up in a blanket. Maybe this is a young girl thing. I don't know. But this is a probably 14 or 15-year-old girl who asked some very precise questions in a response video to AOC's video. In other words, I'm responding to a response video by a 15-year-old. That's where we've landed in this media age.
We agree. Being undocumented is a problem. But our solution, instead of turning the military on our own people, is to document them. To document the undocumented.
Why is America not allowed to have borders? If I illegally crossed another country's borders, decided to start a family, and then their leadership changes and I get caught, why are they expected to now feel bad for me? I understand having compassion for those sad stories out there, and I'm not here for families getting torn apart. But if you came here under false pretenses and now you get caught and you're not here legally and you get sent home, why do I have to feel bad for you? You don't feel bad that people here who work every day and pay taxes haven't been able to afford gas or groceries or car payments or rent or a mortgage? People can't even afford to get their own house, and you guys just get to walk in here and get stuff handed to you on our backs. You don't feel bad? What if Americans walked into your country and started demanding housing and demanding food vouchers because what you were already supplying us with for free wasn't good enough? All I'm saying is the entitlement is getting a bit too out of hand, and that's exactly why Trump and Homan are going to step in. This country needs a harsh dose of reality, and that's what we're about to get.
The reality is this. Tom Homan will take a pledge to support the Constitution and defend it against enemies, foreign and domestic, and foreign countries flooding our borders with people they don't want in their countries, which is what very often is going on, is an attack against our Constitution. One other thing on this, because I find it fascinating. The Economist wrote this headline to panic people. Donald Trump, or this is a tweet, Donald Trump and Tulsi Gabbard are both opposed to Section 702 of the Foreign Surveillance Intelligence Act, which authorizes electronic surveillance on American soil. If they quash it, the FBI will lose a major source of intelligence. Glenn Greenwald, who's written about the intelligence services for decades, a doctrinaire liberal, same-sex attracted man who recently lost his partner. Hope he's healing his heart. I hope that God will call Glenn to himself. Glenn writes this. FISA's Section 702 didn't exist until 2008. When the Pelosi-led House enacted it. It retroactively legalized Bush-Cheney spying on Americans without warrants. The ACLU sued to stop it. But now that it's Trump and Gabbard opposed, everyone acts like it's a sacred part of U.S. history. Indeed, it is acting.